Hello everyone and welcome back to Easy English Convo. I'm Riya.
And I'm Rohan. Today we have such a fun topic to talk about.
Yes, we're going to talk all about travel experiences today. Our own trips, funny stories, useful tips, and dream destinations.
I'm excited for this one because I genuinely love traveling. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
Same here. There's something about packing a bag and going somewhere new that just makes me feel alive.
Exactly. So let's just dive right in. Ria, before we talk about specific trips, tell me, do you consider yourself a planner when you travel or do you like to just go with the flow?
Honestly, I'm a bit of both. I like to have a rough plan like which places I want to see, but I don't like to schedule every single hour. I want room to be spontaneous.
That's a good balance. I used to be a hardcore planner. I would make spreadsheets with timings for everything.
A spreadsheet? That sounds intense.
It was. But over the years, I've learned that the best moments on a trip are usually the ones you didn't plan for.
I completely agree. Some of my best memories happen by accident. Okay, let's start with the big question. What is your favorite trip so far?
That's a tough one, but I'll say Manali. I went there with a few friends about 2 years ago and it completely changed how I think about mountains.
What made it so special?
Honestly, just the scale of everything. The mountains felt so huge compared to anything I had seen before. We stayed in a small wooden guest house and every morning I would wake up, open the window and just stare at the view for 10 minutes before doing anything else.
That sounds so peaceful.
It really was. We also went trekking to a nearby waterfall and along the way we passed apple orchards. The farmers were so friendly, they gave us fresh apples right off the trees.
That's such a lovely detail. I love when locals share little things like that with travelers.
Me too. It makes the trip feel more personal, Not just sightseeing, but actually connecting with people. What about you? What's your favorite trip?
Mine would have to be Goa. I went with my college friends right after our final exams, and it was exactly the kind of carefree trip we needed.
Beaches, I assume?
Lots of beaches. But what I remember most is trying water sports for the first time. I did jet skiing, and I was terrified before getting on it.
Were you scared of falling into the water?
Completely. My hands were shaking. But the instructor was very patient, and once we started moving, the fear turned into pure excitement. I was screaming and laughing at the same time.
That's the best kind of fear, honestly. The kind that turns into joy.
Exactly. And after that, we sat on the beach eating fresh seafood and watching the sunset. It felt like a perfect end to our college life.
That sounds like such a meaningful trip, not just a fun one.
It really was. Sometimes a trip becomes special not because of the place, but because of the timing and the people you're with.
Very true. Have you traveled anywhere since then that felt similarly special?
Yes, actually. Last year I went to Rishikesh, and that trip was special in a completely different way. It was more spiritual and calm rather than exciting and adventurous.
Oh, tell me more about that one.
I went there mainly to see the Ganga Aarti in the evening. Sitting by the river watching hundreds of little lamps floating on the water while people sang prayers, it gave me goosebumps.
That sounds incredibly moving.
It was. I also did a short yoga retreat while I was there. Waking up early, doing yoga by the river, eating simple vegetarian food, it reset something in me.
I think everyone needs a trip like that once in a while. Not for adventure, but for peace.
Completely agree. Different trips serve different purposes in our lives.
Okay, let's lighten things up a bit. Do you have any funny or embarrassing travel story?
Oh, I have plenty. Here's one. Once I missed my train because I was too busy taking photos on the platform.
No way. What happened?
I was at a small station and there was this beautiful old steam engine parked on another track. I got so distracted taking pictures of it that I didn't hear the announcement for my train.
So you just watched it leave?
Basically, by the time I looked up, the train was already pulling away. I ran, but obviously I couldn't catch it.
What do you do then?
I had to wait about 6 hours for the next train. At first, I was so annoyed with myself. But then something nice happened. I met a family who was also waiting, and we ended up talking for hours. Turns out the grandfather in that family used to work for the railways, and he told me the most incredible stories about old train journeys.
So a mistake turned into one of your best memories?
Exactly. If I hadn't missed that train, I never would have met them. It taught me that even when plans go wrong, something good can still come out of it.
That's such a nice way to look at it. I have a similar story actually. Once I got completely lost in a new city because my phone battery died right after I stepped out of the hotel.
Oh no. No maps? No directions?
Nothing. I had written down the hotel address on paper, thankfully, but I had no idea which direction to walk in. So I asked a shopkeeper for help.
Was he helpful?
Extremely. Not only did he explain the route in detail, he actually made me sit down and drink a cup of tea before letting me leave, saying I looked stressed and needed to relax first.
That's so sweet.
It really touched me. As a traveler, you're often nervous about strangers. But experiences like that remind you that most people are kind, especially when they see you're a bit lost, literally and figuratively.
I love that. Traveling really does teach you to trust people more.
Definitely. Do you have any other memorable story? Maybe something a little more dramatic?
Yes, actually. Once during a trek in Himachal, the weather suddenly changed and it started raining heavily. We were still far from the campsite and it got dark quickly.
That sounds scary.
It was, for a few minutes. But our guide stayed completely calm, which helped all of us stay calm too. He led us through a shortcut he knew, and we reached the camp just as it started thundering.
That must have felt like such a relief.
Huge relief. And that night, sitting inside a warm tent, listening to the rain outside, eating hot soup, it felt like one of the coziest moments of my life, right after being scared just an hour earlier.
Travel really does give you this roller coaster of emotions, doesn't it?
Exactly. Fear, excitement, comfort, joy, sometimes all within the same day.
Let's talk about something everyone loves. Food. What's your favorite food memory from a trip?
Oh, this is an easy one. Mumbai street food. I still dream about the pani puri I had near Juhu Beach.
What made it so special?
The combination of spicy, tangy water with the crunchy puri. It was unlike any pani puri I had ever eaten. I think I had almost 20 plates that evening.
20 plates.
I'm not exaggerating much. I ate so much that I couldn't even eat dinner that night. My stomach was so full, but I have zero regrets.
That's the sign of truly good street food. What about something more unique, not just Indian food?
Actually, during a short trip to Pondicherry, I tried French-style croissants at the small bakery run by a French expat. It felt strange but wonderful, eating a flaky croissant while sitting in a French Quarter street in India.
That sounds like such a unique cultural mix.
It really was. Pondicherry has this interesting blend of Indian and French culture, and the food reflects that beautifully. What about you? Any memorable food experience?
In Amritsar, I had the best chole bhature of my entire life. It was at a small, unnamed shop near the Golden Temple. No signboard, just plastic chairs and a huge crowd.
That's usually a good sign when there's a crowd but no fancy branding.
Exactly. The bhature was so soft and fluffy, and the chole had this deep, rich flavor that I still can't fully describe. And later that day, I also had langar at the Golden Temple.
How was that experience?
It was humbling, honestly. Sitting on the floor with hundreds of strangers, all eating the same simple food together, regardless of who they are outside those walls. It was such a peaceful, equalizing experience.
That gives me goosebumps just hearing about it.
It really stays with you. Food isn't just about taste when you travel. It's about the whole experience around it. Who you're eating with, where you are, the story behind the dish.
Completely agree. I think trying local food is one of the best ways to actually understand a culture, more than just visiting monuments.
Absolutely. A city's food tells you about its history, its climate, even its people's daily lifestyle.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about something practical. A lot of our viewers want to travel more but worry about the cost. Any tips, Rohan?
Definitely. My first tip is always this: book your train or bus tickets as early as possible. Prices go up significantly closer to the date, especially during festival seasons.
That's such a simple but often ignored tip. My tip would be to stay in local guest houses or homestays instead of big hotel chains. Not only are they cheaper, but you also get a much more authentic experience.
That's a great point. I've had some of my best conversations with hosts at small homestays, learning about local history and culture directly from them.
Exactly. Another tip? Eat where the locals eat, not where the tourists eat. Local dhabas and small eateries are usually cheaper and often tastier than restaurants targeting tourists.
So true. Tourist area restaurants often charge double or triple for the same quality of food.
What about traveling in groups? Does that help save money?
It really does. Splitting the cost of accommodation, cabs, and even some meals can bring your overall budget down significantly. Plus, it's more fun to share experiences with friends.
Agreed. I'd also add, always carry a reusable water bottle and some snacks. It sounds small, but buying water and food constantly at tourist spots adds up fast.
Very true. And here's a slightly less obvious tip. Travel during the off-season if your schedule allows it. Flights, hotels, and even local transport are much cheaper. And there are fewer crowds too.
That's a great point. Off-season Goa is a completely different, more peaceful experience compared to December.
Exactly. One more tip I'd add: research free or low cost attractions before you go. Many cities have beautiful parks, markets, or walking areas that cost nothing but offer a great experience.
I love that. Not every memorable experience needs an entry ticket.
Exactly. Sometimes just wandering through a local market, talking to vendors, and observing daily life gives you more insight into a place than any paid attraction.
So, to summarize, book early, stay local, eat local, travel in groups, carry your own essentials, travel off-season, and explore free attractions.
Perfect summary. Traveling doesn't have to be expensive if you plan smartly.
Let's talk dreams now. Rohan, if money and time were not a problem, where would you go first?
Honestly, Switzerland has been on my list for years. I've seen so many photos and videos of the snow-covered mountains and clear blue lakes, and I just feel this pull towards it.
What specifically draws you to it?
I think it's the combination of nature and calmness. I imagine sitting by a lake, mountains in the background, drinking hot chocolate, just existing peacefully for a few days.
That sounds like such a beautiful image. My dream destination is closer to home actually, Kashmir. People often call it heaven on earth, and I really want to see if it lives up to that name.
I've heard incredible things about it. Have you started planning that trip yet?
Not fully, but it's definitely on my list for next year. I've been slowly saving money specifically for that trip.
That's inspiring. Having a specific goal like that makes saving money feel more meaningful, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just saving for the sake of saving. It's saving with a purpose and a picture in your mind.
Do you have a second dream destination, maybe outside India?
Yes, actually. Japan. I'm fascinated by how they blend ultra-modern cities with centuries-old traditions. I'd love to see Tokyo's busy streets one day and then visit a quiet temple in Kyoto the next.
That contrast does sound fascinating. I think that's what makes dream destinations so powerful. They represent an experience completely different from our daily life.
Exactly. Dreaming about these places also keeps us motivated in our regular life, doesn't it? Working hard, saving up, all with these beautiful destinations in mind.
Completely agree. Travel dreams give ordinary days a bit of extra purpose. Before we wrap up, let's give some advice to anyone watching who might be planning their very first trip. Riya, what would you tell them?
My first piece of advice would be always keep your important documents safe and accessible. ID cards, tickets, hotel bookings. Keep both physical copies and digital copies saved on your phone.
That's such important advice. I'd add, learn a few basic words of the local language if you're traveling somewhere with a different language. Even simple greetings can make a huge difference in how locals respond to you.
Absolutely. People appreciate the effort, even if your pronunciation isn't perfect.
Exactly. My next tip, don't overplan your entire trip. Leave some free time in your schedule for spontaneous discoveries. Some of the best experiences happen when you're not rushing between checklist items.
I completely agree with that. I'd also say, don't be afraid to ask locals for help or recommendations. Most people are genuinely happy to help travelers, especially if you approach them with a smile and politeness.
Great point. And here's something I personally learned the hard way. Always keep a little buffer time between activities, especially transportation. Delays happen more often than we expect.
So true. I've learned to always add extra time when catching flights or trains, just in case.
Exactly. And finally, my last piece of advice, put your phone down sometimes. Don't just experience a place through your camera screen. Take a few pictures, sure, but also just stand there and absorb the moment with your own eyes.
That's beautifully said. I think that's honestly the most important advice of all. Travel isn't just about collecting photos. It's about collecting feelings, memories, and perspectives that stay with you long after the trip ends.
Well said, Ria. I think that's a perfect note to end this conversation.
So that wraps up today's episode all about travel experiences. We talked about our favorite trips, some funny and memorable stories, food experiences, budget tips, dream destinations, and advice for first-time travelers.
We really hope this conversation gave you some useful English phrases and maybe even inspired you to plan your next trip.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like this video, share it with a friend who loves traveling, and subscribe to Easy English Convo for more conversations like this.
We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep traveling whenever you get the chance.
Bye everyone, take care, and happy travels.
Bye!